Now with Grand Theft Auto 6, the map is going to play the biggest role in the entire game, and many people don't really know too much about it. Today I want to deep dive and go over every single detail that we know so far and what you need to know about it for yourself. So the actual map itself has 6 different regions within it. You have Vice City, which is the largest, most populated one. That's the one we're going to deep dive into today. Then we have Leonida Keys, the Grass Rivers, Port Gellhorn, Ambrosia, and then Mount Caligo, which is the national park. Now with Vice City of Grand Theft Auto 6, this isn't the 80s version that we got back in 2002. This is a full modern metropolitan beast, and Rockstar has already shown us a crazy amount of detail within it. So we're talking vibrant neighborhoods with their own cultures, insane density, and a city that actually feels like it's breathing. You get to see different people doing their own things. Even the beaches are super populated, which we'll talk about in just a second. So to break it down neighborhood by neighborhood and talk about everything you need to know, we gotta first start off with downtown. Now we've seen B-roll, we've also seen screenshots, but when you actually take a second to look at it, you can see how intensely populated the city is. It first starts off with the direct center. You have the Sahara Arena. When you zoom in, you can actually see the name. And this is inspired by the Kaseya Center in downtown Miami, where the Miami Heat play. Now in the same screenshot, if you look behind it, you have the Ferris wheel, which we did get to see some footage of with the B-roll that we had, and then there's also the pier there. You also have another stadium or center shortly to the right of it, and then when you come forward is the Vice City Arts Center. They didn't just drop some generic skyscrapers, they actually built a full performing arts complex, a concert hall, ballet / opera house, towers, even a footbridge connecting everything so it looks luxurious as well as cultural. Now, this is what's separating GTA 6 from other open worlds. Most games give you a downtown full of glass buildings you can only drive past, but with this, there's culture, there's life into the city that they've implemented directly from Miami, Florida. You can actually imagine people going to these shows, going through these events, and living their own lives. So it's like, if you're not there, the world is not revolving around you, and it's going to exist and do its own thing whether you're there or not. And that's what makes it a lot more realistic than what we've seen with past Grand Theft Auto titles. Now, next we head to the beach, specifically Ocean Beach, which is basically their take on South Beach and Ocean Drive, and it looks absolutely packed. And you can't even compare it to, say, Grand Theft Auto 5, which featured the Santa Monica Beach, where it felt completely empty, like it was lacking something. It didn't seem like there were much people. The NPC, you'd rarely see them walking around, not necessarily on the sand, but like over by the walkway. Maybe they would be here and there. You'd see a couple vehicles, but it seemed like it was empty, especially compared to real life, like the Santa Monica Pier, completely packed. There's always a lot going on, people selling things and doing stuff like that, and that's what they captured here with Grand Theft Auto 6. You see that like there's barely any space for you to walk with the amount of people there, and everyone's doing their own thing, including you got people using metal detectors looking for stuff. Everyone's dressed completely different. They're probably having their own conversations, and it just gives you like the vibe that you're really at the beach. And one important thing about the beach is the water aspect. In past Grand Theft Auto titles, they didn't necessarily focus too much on the water. Yeah, it was there. Yeah, there were some boats, but it wasn't as important as, say, driving, as flying, and it wasn't like that point of transportation most people would choose to use. In this case, they have high definition when it comes to that water graphic quality. We've seen it update numerous times throughout the trailers that we've gotten with screenshots that we have. You also see the marine life, dolphins, fish. The graphic quality itself with the sun reflecting off the water, it just hits completely different. Other side of the water, you have the drive, Ocean Drive. In this case, this is where you're starting to jump into the streets. You're starting to see people on the sidewalk. You've got colorful Art Deco hotels right on the sand, neon signs glowing, supercars lined up, crowds of people, umbrellas everywhere. You got the lifeguard towers, and there's a lot happening once again. Now, it may feel overwhelming with just the amount of things, but that's pretty much how Miami, Florida is. And then they even brought back Ocean View Hotel from the original Vice City. They also provided us screenshots if you pre-order the game. This is a pack that you get with Lucia as well as Jason getting different outfits, and they have nice little Easter eggs added as a part of that or to pay homage. And this area is going to be a major hangout spot for many of us. You know why? Because it guarantees people will be cruising in here online. There's probably going to be expensive cars that you can rob. There's probably going to be car shows and things like that they're going to be doing here. There's already confirmations that there is going to be a garage and a weapons storage and a fence drop for stolen goods, which was confirmed to us through the pre-orders. And then the beach isn't just a pretty background anymore. It's actually a real destination. Now, the best part is there's still a couple more locations, so let's talk about one of the most culturally rich areas that they've shown, La Perle. This looks like their vision of Little Haiti from what it seems like. You could tell from the races, you could tell from the people driving around, and you see dirt bikes ripping through the intersections. There's massive murals on every highway support column spelling out Perle, the Caribbean-style storefronts, the heavy graffiti, the palm trees. It's got a whole personality within it. Now, in the character shots, you also see things like gold grills, tattoos, bandanas, jewelry, the hairstyle, that whole. And the most important thing is the pearl tattoo that he has across his chest, indicating that this is where he's from. This is where he grew up from. And that is like, it tells you that it's just different. Completely different from what you're seeing from the beach screenshots, from what's going on in downtown. They're living a whole different life, and that's something that they're reflecting to you in Grand Theft Auto 6. When you go from one area to another, even though you're still within Vice City, it's going to be a completely different experience. Now, one other key detail or spot is going to be the Stockyard, which we've seen Jason driving down the street through there before. It feels like it's Wynwood. So Miami's artsy car culture type of district. They've got lowriders everywhere. They got donks sitting on huge chrome rims. They got warehouse walls covered in street art and what looks like car meets. It's either like a massive popular auto shop or at least a bunch of different car meets that they're hosting where you got all of them coming together and vibing out, and it's completely different from what we've talked about already. It's raw, it's full of energy, and this is the kind of neighborhood where you're gonna see maybe something like underground races within it, car customizations, and crews just hanging out, as it adds a whole lot of flavor to the city. You even have different stores and themes that have already been shown to us through the pre-orders. For example, you have the Stock 305 clothing store, which is literally, in the name itself. And then you also have the vehicle that's custom, and it's also in the same fitting style that they have on. And then you also got other screenshots of Stock 305. Then alongside that, there's also the mod shops. You have the Ride Out Customs mod shop, which they showcase them evolving and changing a vehicle into a lowrider pretty much. The interior's customized. The outside, you got the grill sitting there. You also have, it looks like it's slightly lifted. And there's other car mods and mod shops, which I believe are probably going to be there. Once again, I feel like this is the area that you're probably going to want to go to if you're a car fanatic, you like to race, you like car shows, things like that. That's probably going to be the spot for you. Now, remember, these are just a part of Vice City in its entirety. There's still 5 other regions in the state of Leonida, and that should put everything into perspective for you. I mean, with all that's going on from just a few places that I've named here, the map is immense, it's jam-packed, it's saturated with a lot going on within it, so even if it's not 3 or 4 times bigger than what we saw with GTA 5's map, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, there's so much going on, there's so much happening that you're not really going to be worried about the map being way too big. And then there's also the fact that, just like I've listed 4 or 5 different things that you could do within Vice City, it's going to be the same sort of thing with like the Leonida Keys. There's also Ambrosia. There's also all these other spots that have their own thing going on as well. And even within the city, things that I haven't mentioned, for example, the strip club within there's also the businessman who's Booby Ike, and it looks like he runs some strip clubs or some nightclubs or along those types of things, and then he's also an underground criminal, and at the same time, that's how you're probably going to be introduced into that underground sort of section of Vice City, what you don't publicly see, what you're not seeing outside in these streets, the darker areas, the criminal organizations in the background, and all of that. So it's like a bunch of layers within these different locations on top of different regions that are available. So the map is going to be pretty massive from what we're seeing right now. Definitely worth that long wait that we've had, but What are your thoughts? I mean, based on what you've seen so far here, are you guys excited for Grand Theft Auto 6? If you did enjoy this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and let me know what other Grand Theft Auto 6 topics you guys want me to talk about. But thank you for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys again. Peace.